Hi everyone, Henry Hong here, coming to you from my backyard in this beautiful late spring, early summer evening. Now that it's getting really warm outside, I want to talk about a cocktail called the Mojito, which we're all, I'm sure, familiar with. It is the most popular cocktail in France and UK as of, I think, 2018 or something like that, which is surprising to me. But fairly simple cocktail, but a couple of things that I prefer as far as making the cocktails that might differ from what you've seen at bars or local bars. Certainly, I remember the first mojito I ever had was at Little Havana down on Key Highway, and they sell so many that they have just pint glasses stacked up with lime wedges and mint leaves already, and sugar cubes or sugar already in the bottom, and they muddle the crap out of it. The original cocktail, so just like many cocktails, the origin story is kind of difficult to pin down exactly who named it, where it came from, blah blah. But it's one of those cocktails that has very ancient origins, and indigenous peoples had made an alcoholic product from sugar cane juice specifically. And in this case, we talked in the past about different techniques to make cocktails mask certain flavors. And this is one of those cocktails. Originally, things were added to mask the harsh flavor of the base ingredient, liquor. So today we have this rum, which is generally based, is distilled from molasses, which is a byproduct of sugar production. There's a Brazilian analog called cachaça, which is actually distilled from sugarcane juice. But in any case, this particular rum comes from Guyana, which is east of Venezuela. And as opposed to the muddling process, which, as I talked about in previous videos, when you're talking about muddling a citrus fruit, for instance, the pith is crushed as well, so you're introducing bitter compounds, and again, you're just amplifying all these flavors that maybe you really don't want in a nice refined cocktail. So there's a very quick demonstration of how I like my mojitos. We have some mint here that's picked from our front yard. I'm going to take the very top half and use that as a garnish. But otherwise, well, all we need really, even without any sort of handling of the mint, it already smells very, very minty. So it's got a lot of flavor as it is. So all I'm going to do is actually take it like this and crush it just a tiny little bit. Leaves are wilted a tiny bit like that. Leave it whole. I'm going to put it in my shaker. And instead of like a cut lime or lime wedges that we muddle, we've got half a lime in here in our juicer. We juice it right in. See that coming out. Juice of half a lime gets you probably about a half ounce of juice. Put that to the side. And then what I have here is actually confectioner's sugar. So instead of using simple syrup or sugar, granulated sugar that would take some effort in order to dissolve, confectioner's sugar is very fine and it dissolves much more readily. So a heaping teaspoon. Add a little bit of sweetness without adding extra water. We'll add the rum, a couple ounces. 1, 2. It's about a half ounce of lime juice, teaspoon of confectioner's sugar, 2 ounces of rum. And then instead of muddling, we're going to use these nice big ice cubes. Put 3 of them in here. And shake the crap out of it. So the idea is that even after we've sort of bruised the leaves before putting in that mint sprig, the motion of the ice will further muddle the mint and bring out the essential oils without crushing it too much and without introducing, like sort of breaking the mint up so there's small particles that get in the way of your drinking experience. So. I wasn't counting, but if you recall, if your shakers are stuck together like these are, you put where the contact point is at the 6 o'clock position, and you tap at a 90-degree angle. 3 o'clock should come right out. In this case, we don't have to strain it. I'll show you what it looks like. The mere shaking of the ice vigorously has essentially pulverized the mint, and we can actually take this big sprig out. There's a little bit in there and garnish it with a little lime wedge. Now, normally you would put some club soda. So mojitos are generally served in Collins glasses, tall glasses, highballs, because it's a summer drink. It's supposed to be refreshing and thirst quenching. I enjoy it as a cocktail. We'll add this mint sprig the pretty one that we saved as a garnish. And from what I understand, and I've always wanted to go to Cuba, and my wife and I will go one day, but in Cuba it's very popular to add a little bit of Angostura bitters. And again, all of these, the mint, the citrus, the sugar, the bitters, the original intent was to mask the harshness of the base liquor. We are lucky to have access to very highly refined, multiple times distilled rums, etc. So that's not necessary, but that's sort of the evolution of the cocktail. And here is what I consider to be a very fine mojito, a little bit of that rosy hue from the bitters. Yeah, and that's it. Enjoy.